So we start with this basic function, which is very much like y equals 1 over x. And that has a graph that looks basically like this. So when I change it to polar form and then I graph it, the graph should look something like this, which is a hyperbola. Okay, so to convert it, we can use things like x is equal to r times cosine of theta, and y is equal to r times sine of theta. The way that I remember those two is that they're in alphabetical order, x and then y, cosine and then sine. And I can just make a direct substitution. Just replace the y with r sine of theta. On the right side, replace the x with r cosine of theta. And in order to graph it, I'm going to have r equals. So in order to get r equals, then I could use my red pen and say multiply this side by r and multiply this side by r. And then to isolate that, divide both sides by sine and divide both sides by sine. And then cancel, cancel. This side is going to have r squared equals. And the r's will cancel. And then there's just 10 divided by a cosine of theta times sine of theta. So part of the directions said to convert it. And I've converted it. Now when I graph that thing, it should give me this graph over here, thus denoted by smiley face. So since it has r squared, I'll need to take the square to both sides. So go to the graphing calculator, make sure that it's in polar form, and then do the square root in order to solve for r. It had a 10 on top divided by, and then it had both a sine of theta and a cosine of theta in the denominator. So put parentheses around the sine and cosine, so that's in the denominator. And then for the window, have it go from 0 to 2 pi, and x and y can go from negative 10 to 10. Oh, I forgot my negative. That's what it was. Negative 10 to 10. And then graph, and that looks correct. Yay. And, yep, so the happy face is correct.